In this video, I'm going to explain why you should stop using Google Sheet in actual client projects. Um, the entire reason for why I ran into this issue is because, yes, using Google Sheet is perfectly fine when you have like one flow. It's not an issue. It's fine because it's just like, okay, we have this one flow and it's running our code and we're writing to Google Sheets, which is not a problem. However, as soon as you start adding in, let's say you add in another flow with Google Sheets, and then you add another one, and then you add another one, now you're going to run into trouble, because what is going to happen essentially is that you can write 60 to 100 writes per minute per user, and it's probably around 60 for most people. And once you have all of these flows writing at the same time, you're going to get hit by rate limits. So it's essentially just going to error out like, hey, error, rate limit, try again later. And the thing, of course, once that happens, the next logical step is, well, okay, this happens, we got to fix this. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to throttle it. We're going to throttle this a lot. We're just going to put a lot of wait notes all over the place, and we're just going to put it at like 5 seconds. And hopefully that will fix the problem. But it really won't fix the problem, because what will happen essentially is that you might still get hit by rate limits. You might still get hit by rate limits. Or you have essentially slow down your entire system to a system where it has to wait every single time, which is wait 5 seconds or even more. Maybe you have to do more than 5 seconds. And this entire thing here, this entire solution of having to use wait notes and then having to wait 5 seconds to run things, it's super annoying once you're in it. Because if you're working on a client project and you're just like, okay, we need to essentially work through the data here, let's say leads, we need to push through these leads. And because right now we can only write a certain amount, we have to essentially slow down things and we have to wait. And that is just going to take more time for no reason at all. And I get it. The benefit, like the biggest benefit with Google Sheet is like, oh, it's free. Like, that is seriously the only benefit. Besides that, there is like no other benefit. It's just like it's an API like all other APIs. There's no difference. If you work with one, they all kind of work the same. And so the only benefit is really that it's free. That's the only reason why you will kind of use it. But you're eventually going to run into these issues with the write limits, and you're just getting hit, and you're just going to get annoyed by, oh my god, this is not working. And the same thing kind of goes for Airtable as well, because I've seen some people mention like, oh, I'm going to run Airtable. But even with Airtable, you actually have a limit there as well with how much you can actually run the API each month, because I managed to hit that limit as well on Airtable with an API. So what I'm trying to say here is that if you're about to work on a client project, ask yourself like, how much are we going to be writing to this? Like, how many writes are we going to do? How many writes? Because if you know that, you can essentially figure out if Google Sheet is a good fit or if it's a bad fit. And because let's say you're making video content with the APIs, generally speaking, that's not a problem. Like, that's not a problem. You're not writing enough for that to hit any rate limits, because it's just one video at a time, and those APIs are slow by default, because it has to create the video. It has to essentially create the video, right? And then you might want to remake the video because it's not good enough. So the APIs for creating video content are by default slow. They're already slow, so it doesn't really matter, right? So that's fine. But if you're working with leads, I will say I will probably avoid Google Sheets right away. Like, because lead as a general rule of thumb is that you're going to enrich them which means that you're gonna write to the Google Sheet. You're probably maybe gonna remove or update them somehow, because you probably want to like remove bad leads or maybe do something with them to filter away the leads that you're not interested in. So sort of filter, which means that you kind of need to either write to the write to the same sheet, or or you might have to essentially write the leads to another sheet. And all of this, I mean, all of this sounds fine, right? Like this is only one project. This is only one project. Because the thing is, if you're working with a client that is already using Google Sheet on another project, that means that this project is now trying to use Google Sheet, but then they have this other project over here. And this is also trying to use Google Sheet. This means that essentially you're going to hit rate limits because both of these are now trying to use Google Sheet at the same time to write. So it's going to be even easier to hit the rate limits. And that's the entire thing for why I'm such a like, it's not worth dealing with Google Sheets. It's really not. It's free, it's good for testing, but it's a thing you need to move away from pretty much ASAP. And the only reason why you will be on it right now is only if you haven't ran into any troubles with client projects. But when you do, you get so annoyed. You get so annoyed, and it's super, yeah. However, and I thought the solution to all of this was data tables. I really thought that. But as you can see here, this is another problem because data tables apparently have a limit of 50 megabyte. And now you have to ask yourself, well, how much data are we trying to save here? Because if we once again have leads, the question is, how much do we need to keep, and how much can we throw away? Like, how much data do we need? And that kind of depends, because if you're using, let's say, Firecrawl, and you're just going through their entire website, scraping everything on their website, so you can personalize the email. That is going to take up a lot of space. And that is what is going to happen here. You're essentially going to hit this limit real fast because you're scraping a lot of content and you're saving it in a data table, and you're just going to hit this limit pretty fast. And what happens eventually is that you're just going to start crashing because you simply don't have any space. Essentially, that's what they're warning about up here. So when it comes to data tables, I will say they're good to an extent, but only make sure to not hoard a lot of information in them. Because if you know that, hey, we're gonna use Firecrawl and we're gonna scrape a lot of data and we want to hold all the data, or let's say you're writing a big amount of content for blogging, that could be another thing, because at this point you're holding that as well, and that can also be a lot of content that the ChatGPT outputs. And I'm not thinking like, oh, one blog post is gonna, like, I'm not thinking like one. I'm thinking like maybe you're holding like, let's say maybe you have 100 rows of blog posts. You can probably understand that that's gonna be a lot of space. That's what I mean. I'm not thinking about like the first one, because the first one doesn't really matter. That's not where you're gonna have the problems. You're gonna have problems at 100, and it just depends on how much data you're about to work with. But I will say it's super important just to understand how much data you're gonna work with, so that you can make the best decision, and also what kind of data you're gonna work with. Because if you're not gonna write that much to Google Sheet or to data tables, you can use Google Sheet. I mean, you're not gonna get hit by the rate limit, and you can have a lot of you can, and there's no limit in terms of space in Google Sheet. At least what I've noticed, I've put in a lot of things, but and then you have data tables, and if you're not gonna like save a lot of data, you can use data tables. So it just depends, right? But if you now know that, okay, you know what, we're gonna write a lot and we need a lot of space, I will 100% just go with Superbase, because you get 8 gig of space and write super fast. these are like the two, I will say these are the two biggest benefits I saw when I was using it. And then of course you have the different control depending on like users and all of that, but that's not something I've essentially worked that much with. It has mostly been, you have a lot of space and you can write super fast via the API, which essentially solves all of the problems we saw over here, because now we can essentially have, we can output a lot more data, we can enrich a lot of data, and we have enough space to save a lot of content. Plus it's 8 gigabytes of space for each project, so you can have multiple projects here. You can have, I mean, you can have 10 projects. So at the end of the day, you're essentially going to be able to like save all the content. You can have one project per month if you want to. You could simplify that somehow, and that's one way you could do it. But that's kind of like that's kind of my conclusion after working with these, that yeah, Google Sheet is cool in the start, but eventually you move over to data tables and then you realize that yeah, we kind of just need to work with something that is proper. And I get it that not all clients are going to say yes to paying 25, I think it's $25 per month, but that might be on the plan when you pay yearly, so it might be a bit higher. I get that not all clients want to do this. Like, however, they will notice these two issues, and maybe then they will realize that okay, I gotta fix this somehow. I gotta do something with it, and because these two issues are pretty annoying, and when your things are crashing and then not, and you have to rate, or you have to have throttle everywhere, you throttle everything, and it's just going slow. You're probably gonna ask like, oh, can we like increase the speed here? You know, that's the entire thing. So eventually most people realize like, okay, we gotta like kind of upgrade these to something that is proper. You can set up your own super base. It's just Postgres, right? So you can do that with your own server, but I kind of avoid recommending people to set up their own servers. And that's mostly because that's that, like having your own server, that's another thing you have to now handle. And I just had one client where he handles his entire server on Hostinger, and the entire server got wiped out 3 times. I had to rebuild his system multiple times because I built it in his instance. And you'd think that, yeah, I mean, it gets wiped out once, that's fine. But a second and a third time, it's just like you're just asking for what is going on. Like, why is this happening? Essentially. And it's because you're trying to save money on n8n, which is just like, no, just use the cloud because it's easy. They back up most of it and it just works, instead of trying to like handle the server and all of it, because it's just, yeah, it's just extra work for nothing at all. And yeah, it's like Shopify versus WordPress. Just use Shopify. You don't have to handle all of these backend things and try to understand it. This is like an extra thing that doesn't really add much value, you know? Much more than so that you're saving money, but I will say that the headache and the peace of mind in terms of like just using the cloud is probably better than trying to manage a server that might crash whenever, and then you've lost all your work just like that, because they lost other things as well. So yeah, and with that, I'm gonna end it here. But if you liked it, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.